The morning sunlight filtered softly through the curtains, spilling golden warmth across the bedroom floor. May stretched slowly, blinking awake, as the familiar sounds of the neighborhood trickled in, birds chirping, a distant car horn, the faint laughter of children playing. It seemed like any other day, a quiet morning, a cup of tea, and the gentle hum of daily life. But something felt different. There was a strange electricity in the air, an invisible current that made her heart flutter for reasons she couldn't immediately identify. Her son, Liam, had called her twice that morning. The first call she had ignored, thinking it was too early for anyone's chatter. But the second call carried a tone of barely contained excitement that made her pulse quicken. By the time she entered the living room, her heart thumped with curiosity. Balloons bobbed lazily in the corners, mismatched cushions were arranged on the sofa, and a faint scent of vanilla and flowers lingered in the air. Liam stood awkwardly by the wall, trying to suppress a grin, shifting his weight from one foot to the other. "Happy Tuesday?" May asked cautiously, her eyebrows raised in playful suspicion. Liam's grin widened. "Happy birthday, Mom." For a moment, May froze. Birthday? Of course, it was her birthday, she always remembered. Yet this year, caught in the rhythm of work and routines, she had almost let the day pass unnoticed. Liam stepped forward, holding a small, neatly wrapped box. "I got you something," he said, his eyes sparkling with mischief. May chuckled softly. "Oh, sweetheart, you didn't have to." But before she could finish, Liam thrust the box toward her, insisting with exaggerated flair, "Open it." Inside was a scarf. A rich burgundy color, soft as a cloud and woven with delicate patterns that shimmered slightly in the morning light. May lifted it, feeling the smooth fabric between her fingers. Liam's voice broke the reverie. "Cover up your old face." May laughed loudly, the sound spilling joyfully into the room. "Auntie May doesn't have an old face," she said, draping the scarf around her neck and striking a dramatic pose. "This is timeless elegance." Liam groaned theatrically. "Mom, please," he said, though his eyes danced with amusement. The moment lingered. That teasing laughter, simple and pure, made May feel younger than she had in years. Not older, not weary, just alive. They moved to the kitchen together, where Liam busied himself making tea while May leaned against the counter, saving the quiet intimacy of the moment. "What's all this for?" May asked softly, curious about the effort and thought behind the morning's surprise. Liam set to steaming cups of tea on the counter, his expression more serious now. I wanted today to feel real. You always do so much for us. For everyone." May shook her head. "I don't do that much." "Yes, you do," he insisted gently. "And we notice." For a few minutes, they sipped their tea in companionable silence, the kind that only exists between a parent and child who know each other deeply, without the need for words. Then, the doorbell rang. Liam jumped. "They're here." Before May could respond, the front door opened, and a flood of familiar faces and laughter spilled into the room, neighbors, cousins, friends from years past. They all cheered in unison. "Happy birthday, May." She stood frozen for a heartbeat, scarf around her neck, eyes wide in disbelief. Aunt Clara carried a tray of cupcakes sprinkled with colorful sugar crystals. Uncle Ben grinned mischievously, and Cousin Jemma had her phone out, already recording the moment. Handshakes, hugs, laughter. May felt her heart swell with warmth. Gifts appeared, from coffee mugs embroidered with "World's Best Mom" to framed collages of memories, snapshots of her life, childhood friends, Liam's toddler years, holidays, and celebrations. And then, The cake. A tall, multi-layered creation adorned with frosting and strawberries, candles flickering like golden stars. The room quieted for a moment, all eyes on May. It wasn't the cake or the gifts that moved her. It was the presence of love, of people who knew her, cared for her, and had taken the time to show it in ways both big and small. As May looked around the room, her heart light and full, she whispered, almost to herself, "You did all this for me." And in that instant, surrounded by laughter, warmth, and memories, May realized the truth: birthdays are not about numbers or age. They are about moments, the ones that make life extraordinary. The cake sat at the center of the coffee table, frosting glistening under the soft light. Strawberries and delicate swirls of cream crowned its top, candles flickering like tiny golden stars. Everyone's eyes turned to May, anticipation hanging thick in the air. "Make a wish," whispered Aunt Clara softly. May closed her eyes. Not because she needed to concentrate, but because memories began flooding in. She thought of birthdays long past, the first one after college, celebrated with roommates who felt like sisters, at the year Liam was born, holding him for the first time and feeling like her heart had grown tenfold, the quiet afternoons with her mother before she passed, sipping tea and sharing stories that seemed simple then, but sacred now. She exhaled gently and opened her eyes, letting a small, grateful smile spread across her face. "Thank you," she whispered. Then, she leaned forward and blew. All the candles went out in a single, smooth breath. The room erupted in cheers and applause. May laughed, a sound rich with warmth, surprise, and the joy of being seen. Once the clamor subsided, everyone settled into the soft glow of the living room. May's gaze swept across familiar faces. There was Uncle Ben, grinning proudly, Aunt Clara holding her cup of tea. Liam sitting quietly beside her, eyes shining with mischief and pride. "It's strange," May began softly, almost to herself, but her voice carried. "Every year feels the same, and yet so different." The room leaned in, catching her words. "When I was younger," she continued, "I thought birthdays were about gifts and cake. But now I see, it's about people. It's about moments. It's about the footsteps that echo in your life long after the day is done." Her voice softened further. "Sometimes we forget to say how much someone means to us, until a moment like this comes and makes words feel too small." A hush fell over the room. Even Liam looked unusually still, absorbing her words. Aunt Clara nodded quietly, and Mara, a friend from May's college days, murmured, "You deserve all this, May." May's lips curved into a gentle smile. In that moment, she realized the profound truth she had never fully acknowledged: birthdays weren't about her. They were about the love she had given and received, the memories she had created, and the people who had stood by her through all the years. After the cake, the party drifted into cozy conversations. Everyone gathered around the photo collage, laughing and sharing memories. "Remember this day?" someone asked, holding up a photo of May at a college party, mismatched socks and all. May chuckled. "I thought I was so cool." Liam, digging through pictures of himself as a toddler on May's lap, said softly, "Oh wow. I remember this day. I cried when I lost my first balloon." May laughed, shaking her head. "And I cried because you cried." The room erupted into laughter again. Stories flowed from picture to picture: laughter, tears, triumphs, and failures, a tapestry of years that made May's heart feel full, heavy with gratitude and joy. Eventually, the crowd thinned. Balloons were collected, leftovers packed, and the quiet of the evening settled around the house. May found herself in the backyard, the cool air brushing against her skin, lanterns glowing softly in the twilight. Liam approached, hesitation in his step. "Mom, there's something else I wanted to say," he said, voice quiet but earnest. May turned to him, waiting. "I know you've been working so hard lately, and I know life hasn't been easy. But I want you to know we see you. We see your strength, your kindness, your love. And we notice every little thing you do." May blinked, overwhelmed. She had always been the giver, rarely the one to receive such affirmation. Yet here was her son, speaking from the heart, offering something she hadn't realized she deeply needed. "Thank you," she whispered. No more words were necessary. The moment held itself, fragile and perfect, as the evening air wrapped around them. They stood in silence for a few more moments, lanterns casting dancing shadows across their faces, until May finally smiled, feeling lighter than she had in years. In that quiet, surrounded by family, love, and memories, May understood something profound. Life wasn't just about birthdays, gifts, or fleeting moments of attention. It was about connection, presence, being truly seen and loved. And that realization, simple yet powerful, stayed with her, lingering long after the last guest had left, like a gentle flame that refused to be extinguished. The morning after her birthday, the house felt unusually quiet. The balloons were deflated, the cake dishes washed and stored, and the echoes of laughter lingered faintly like a gentle whisper. May moved through the living room, savoring the calm, when something caught her eye, an envelope tucked carefully in the drawer where she kept her scarves. It wasn't unusual to find letters there. She often kept little notes or cards from Liam, small tokens of affection and memories. But this envelope felt different, heavier somehow, more deliberate. Its cream-colored paper had a faint shimmer, and the handwriting on the front was elegant and unfamiliar. Curious, May carefully opened it. Inside was a folded sheet of paper, edges slightly worn as if it had traveled a long way to reach her. Her eyes scanned the words. "Dear May, I hope this finds you in peace." Her heart skipped a beat. The letter was from someone she hadn't spoken to in years, Emma. May's closest friend in her 20s, her confidant, the one who had shared secrets, dreams, and heartbreaks. Memories rushed back unbidden, late-night talks under the stars, laughter that echoed through dorm hallways, shed tears over heartbreaks, and whispered promises that life would always keep them connected. And yet, somewhere along the way, life had pulled them apart. Harsh words, misunderstandings, silence. Years had passed without contact. May's fingers trembled as she unfolded the letter further. "I think of you often, and I wish I'd made things right. If this letter reaches you in kindness, I hope we can meet again, catch up over tea and share stories of who we've become." May held the letter close to her chest, memories colliding with present reality. A lump formed in her throat. The scarf Liam had given her the day before, soft, warm, comforting, seemed almost symbolic now. A reminder that connection and love could bridge even the longest stretches of time. She slipped the letter into her journal, savoring the quiet as her thoughts wandered. Then, as if prompted by some inner resolve, she brewed a cup of chamomile tea and sat by the window. The sunlight kissed her cheeks as she contemplated her next move. Could she reconnect with Emma after all these years? What would it be like? Would they be the same? Would the past interfere with the present? May took a deep breath, feeling courage stir inside her. With careful, deliberate handwriting, she penned a reply. "Dear Emma, your letter brought me back to many memories, both joyful and deeply missed. I would be glad to meet you for tea. Let's catch up and share stories of who we've become." She sealed the envelope and placed it in the mailbox, her hands tingling with anticipation. 2 days later, May found herself at a small cafe overlooking a quiet park. Her heart raced as she sipped her tea, glancing at the entrance every few seconds. Then she saw her, Emma, standing hesitantly, as though unsure if this moment could truly be real. May rose from her seat, and Emma approached. Their eyes met, and for a heartbeat, neither spoke. Then, slowly, they embraced. Long and silent, the hug carried years of missed laughter, shared pain, and unspoken words. When they finally pulled back, Emma spoke first. "I've missed you," she said softly, her voice trembling slightly. May smiled, tears glistening in her eyes. "I've missed you too." They spent hours talking, reminiscing about college adventures, heartbreaks, and triumphs, filling in the gaps of the years they had lost. Stories unfolded like threads weaving together the fabric of their friendship once more. May realized that life was full of these delicate opportunities. Connections could fade but could also be rekindled, sometimes unexpectedly, with courage and an open heart. As the sun dipped low over the park, casting golden light across the cafe's tables, May felt a deep sense of gratitude. The gift of reconnection, like the surprise birthday celebration Liam had orchestrated, reminded her that love and friendship were not bound by time. They lived in moments, fragile, beautiful, and enduring. She walked home with Emma later that evening, laughter spilling into the crisp air, hearts lighter, and the past transformed not by memory alone, but by renewal. For May, this was more than just a birthday reflection. It was a lesson. The past could hurt, but it could also heal. If one had the courage to reach across the distance and open the door. And in that lesson, she found a warmth that rivaled even the softest scarf Liam had given her, a warmth of love, forgiveness, and the beauty of truly being seen. The days following her reunion with Emma were quiet yet full of reflection. May found herself sitting by her window most mornings, the burgundy scarf Liam had given her draped loosely around her shoulders. She watched the sunlight shift across the garden, noticing details she had often overlooked, the way the dew clung to leaves, the gentle sway of branches, the chirp of early birds announcing a new day. Life, May realized, was made up of these small moments, fleeting, delicate, yet profound. Emma's reappearance brought a new rhythm to May's days. They met weekly, sometimes at cafes, sometimes in quiet corners of the park, sharing the intricacies of their lives since they last met. Their conversations wove through laughter, regret, hope, and wisdom. One day, as they sipped tea beneath the canopy of autumn leaves, Emma said softly, "Time isn't measured in years. It's measured in moments that change us." May pondered the words. Every birthday, every gathering, every quiet moment with Liam, these weren't just days marked on a calendar. They were fragments of life that built meaning. Years alone didn't define her. Experiences, connections, and love did. May's reflections deepened when she stumbled upon a yellowed envelope tucked into a forgotten box. It was her father's handwriting, folded carefully long ago before he passed. The letter had never been read. She unfolded it now, feeling a strange mixture of nostalgia and longing. "May, if you're reading this, I hope life has been good to you. I hope you've found laughter, love, and meaning. I hope you know that you matter, not because of what you do, but because of who you are." Tears pooled in May's eyes as she traced the familiar loops of her father's handwriting. It was a reminder she hadn't needed yet still deeply cherished, that presence, love, and acknowledgement mattered far more than accomplishments or outward appearances. The letter, written decades ago on her 30th birthday, felt like a bridge across time. For years, it had sat untouched, waiting for her to be ready to hear the words. Now, finally, she was. Another year approached, and May prepared for her next birthday with a calmness she had never known before. No anxiety, no dread of age, only gratitude for the life she had, full of connection, presence, and love. She stepped into her backyard, the same place where Liam had assured her that she was seen and loved. She draped the burgundy scarf around her shoulders once more, not to hide anything, but to honor the beauty of memories and connections. May whispered softly to herself, "Every year is a gift. Every moment is a chance to be present, to feel, to love." For the first time in years, birthdays weren't about turning older or counting days. They were about recognizing life's blessings, acknowledging the people who mattered, and embracing moments that truly counted. May often imagined speaking to the audience she had grown to cherish through her stories. She would say, "Life moves fast. People change. Years pass. But the moments that truly matter are the ones filled with sincerity, laughter around a table, unexpected letters, reunions long overdue, hugs that heal old wounds." She would continue, her voice gentle but firm, "Birthdays aren't about age. They're about remembering that we are here, breathing, feeling, loving. And that makes life extraordinary." May smiled at the thought, her heart swelling. She realized now that life was not about perfection or achievements, but presence. In moments, in people, and in the love shared and received. Her reflections lingered long after the last candle had been blown, and she felt a quiet, profound peace settle in her chest. Time, she understood, was not something to fear, count, or chase. Time was a canvas, and each connection, memory, and act of love painted a brushstroke that made life beautiful. May's journey had brought her here, to a place of gratitude, understanding, and presence. And in that understanding, she discovered a simple truth: life's deepest treasures are often the ones we overlook in the rush of ordinary days, yet they are the ones that last forever. May stood by the window, the early morning sun spilling warmth across the room. She wrapped the burgundy scarf around her shoulders, not to hide anything, but as a quiet celebration of connection, memory, and the moments that truly mattered. Life, she realized, was not measured in years or accomplishments, but in the love given and received, in laughter shared, in the quiet times when someone simply noticed you. Each day was a canvas, each relationship a brushstroke, and each small act of kindness or presence painted a pattern that made life meaningful. From that year on, May approached her birthdays differently. They were no longer about grand celebrations or extravagant gifts. They became a time for presence, for intentional connection, for reflection. Some years they wrote letters to each other, others they planted trees in the backyard, cooked meals together, or simply shared stories that had been tucked away in their hearts. Each birthday became a mosaic of meaning, a reminder that life was richest when lived with awareness and love. May thought often of her father's letter, Emma's reunion, and Liam's simple, earnest gestures. Each had reminded her that the smallest moments often carried the deepest weight. When someone handed her a gift, when a joke about her old face made her laugh, when someone held her hand or shared a story, these were the treasures of life. They were fleeting, yes, but infinitely more valuable than anything material, more enduring than any passing concern about age or circumstance. If she could speak to anyone watching, anyone who might find their own birthdays approaching with trepidation, she would say this: you are not defined by numbers, not by your achievements, not by the years behind you. You are defined by moments, those that touch hearts, create memories, and remind you that you are seen and loved. When life feels ordinary, look closer. There is magic in being present, in loving, in noticing and being noticed. That is the heart of existence, and it lasts far longer than fleeting worries or anxieties. As the sun set on another year, May lit her candles once more. She did not wish for anything she lacked. Instead, she wished to honor what she had gained: connection, presence, gratitude, and love. She closed her eyes, feeling the warmth of those who had come before, those who surrounded her now, and those who would be part of her journey yet to come. She exhaled, blowing out the candles, and in that single breath, she felt the fullness of life. Opening her eyes, she was surrounded by friends, family, and laughter, not extravagant, not perfect, but real. And May whispered, softly and surely, "Here's to another year of moments worth living." The air seemed to shimmer around her, carrying the quiet truth she had learned, that life is not about how long you live, but how deeply you are present in the time you are given. And in that presence, May found her legacy, not in wealth, not in accolades, but in the hearts she touched, the moments she cherished, and the love she both gave and received. That legacy would endure, quietly, beautifully, and forever.